OK, so a survey has discovered that young people are losing hope in what they see as a hostile labour market. That's one angle on it. We'll get stuck into this. With as many as 1 in 10 stating that they never intend to start working. That's not losing hope. That's not having any gumption, ambition, drive, and frankly being a drain on society and rotting in their nan's basement. The research by opinion polling implies that almost 227,000 young people across the UK do not ever intend to get a job. Ever. With many expressing a lack of aspiration in their career prospects. With high tax burdens and a low supply of housing, have Britain's young lost their sense of ambition? Joining me now is Anna McGovern, English student at Queen Mary University of London and political commentator Noah Khogali. Look, thank you very much, both of you. Two young people I can see here. Good stuff. Anna, I'll start with you. This is just utterly shocking. Shouldn't their parents be giving them a kick up the backside? Or they'd probably be arrested for that these days.
I'm actually quite shocked to see this because I personally wouldn't categorise myself as one of the lazy youth. Like, personally, I'm about to graduate in the next few months, and I've worked almost full-time throughout my entire degree, 2 years in a school and now in public affairs. And I think for many young people, especially in the economic crisis, it'd be almost impossible not to work, because how would you be able to afford rent?
Well,
and how would you be able to do the
Well, this is it, basically. There's 227,000 young people there who want to be benefit scroungers for the rest of their life. Commentator Noah Khogali, I'll bring you in now. This is an absolute national scandal. Basically, we've created a generation of utter weaklings who think just because the going gets tough, they're just not going to try.
I don't think that's exactly what it is. I think what you're really seeing here is the evolution that we're seeing in wider society and in terms of in terms of the workplace and what's expected in the long term. You've got a lot of young people today, especially who, with the influence of social media specifically, are getting very, very used to these short-term dopamine hits. And, their attention span's going down. They're expecting lots of things, quickly, fast, move on to the next thing over and over and over again. What we're seeing is those people now take those expectations into the workplace, or it seems like that's what we're seeing, and the workplace hasn't yet adjusted. So either lots of those young people are going to find themselves essentially destitute and really struggling, or the workplace is going to have to adapt for this next generation.
This is a classic, not from you, no, don't get me wrong. And by the way, that's emphasised by how immaculate the bedroom is behind you there. Well done, my good man. But, a lot of young people now expect the world to change for them, and they see everything on Instagram, Anna, don't they? They think this is people's lives. It's not real people's lives. You have to go out and try and earn a pound note, don't you? What would your message to young people be?
I think with Instagram and other social media platforms, it definitely promotes a lifestyle that's not realistic, and you only see like one snapshot of someone's entire day, and most of it is very fake. So I think my message would be to definitely try and put yourself out there and get the experience. It is very challenging, though, I will say, especially for young people, because a lot of the opportunities for work are London-centric. So do you bite the bullet? Do you move to London, pay the high sky rent? Do you stay out of London, or do you make the commute? I think there are other barriers as well that make it incredibly difficult for young people to access the workplace, which might be why they feel a bit more demotivated to actually enter in the first place.
I think it depends a little bit on what line of work you want to go into, doesn't it, in terms of how London-centric that is. But, Noah, do you think that this is just a generation now where, because the going has got tough, they decide to give up a little bit? There's a lot of youth angst, isn't there? And there's a lot of people who try... I'm not diminishing anyone who's got genuine issues, by the way, but a lot of people throw their hands up and say, oh, I'm so stressed, I'm too anxious, everything's stressful and all of this. And actually, they need a little bit of a rocket. Is this now what we're seeing is the physical embodiment of kids who went to a primary school that didn't have winners and losers on sports day?
Maybe partially, and there is a lot of room for that argument, and the huge number of people in that report that were suggesting that they were coming out of school without adequate careers guidance. But what I think is really, really interesting here in the long term is the way that the workplace is going to change. And for example, PwC suggesting that by the mid-2030s, 30% of jobs are going to be automated. What we're seeing here is a real disconnect between young people who are really part of this technological revolution and aren't expecting to go into an office and essentially sit down for 8 hours a day and do something menial. They want to be going into something like the arts, where 15% of respondents said they wanted to work, where at the moment there's only 2% of jobs. But in 30 years, that will be very, very different, because lots of those office jobs may not exist anymore. So whilst there is room for that primary school argument, we are seeing a disconnect here between the generations and the workplace now and what it will be moving forward.
Yeah, look, I do take it that there's not a huge amount of natural incentive for a lot of young people. Maybe they're looking at home ownership being out of their grasp. And completely, I, by the way, say this with full self-awareness of how lucky I am to be one of the very few people who does a job like I do now. But to be fair, what people didn't see, and I'm not trying to hold myself up to be a saint by any stretch of the imagination, anyone who knows me will know I've got unbelievably lucky on numerous different occasions in a way that is very difficult to explain, actually. It's almost like I must have bribed someone, which I didn't, OK? I didn't. They'll never make it stick. But, you know, you do have to go and work hard. What people don't see is the salaries that I was on when I was 18 or 19 years old and the hours I was putting in. Anyway, I'm banging on too much. Right, thank you very much, both of you. Great to have you both on the show.